Naomi teaches 4th grade in Madison, Wisconsin. This morning she woke up at 5 and checked the forecast. 80 million people, 50 million, 10% hatched. Those three numbers describe three separate dangers arriving in the next 48 hours, plain and simple. This video is her forecast and yours. Stay with me because at the 9-minute mark, I will show you why Thursday is the more dangerous day of the two. And at the very end, I will tell you exactly what Naomi decided to do after reading that forecast this morning. But first, what those three numbers actually mean, starting with the 80 million. 80 million people will be inside a major heat risk zone on Thursday, June 11th. That is level 3 out of 4 significant, but it means Wednesday still has a workable preparation window. On Wednesday, 50 million people across the Midwest and Mississippi Valley face the first wave. Heat index values across Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana will approach 100 degrees Fahrenheit Wednesday afternoon. Dew points in the mid-70s are driving that heat index air. This humid, this far north belongs in July, not June. By Thursday, the heat dome shifts east. New York City is forecast to record its highest temperature of the year. 93 degrees in the second week of June before most bodies have had even one day to acclimatize. The human body needs 7 to 14 days of gradual warm exposure before its cooling system adjusts to summer. Early June gives the body 0 adjustment days. The same temperature hits far harder in week 2 than in week 8. For adults over 65, heat stroke can develop in under 30 minutes of outdoor exposure when the index exceeds 105. The good news, a 93-degree day in New York is manageable if you hydrate and stay out of direct sun afternoon. Philadelphia and Baltimore hit low 90s Thursday, uncomfortable, but cooling centers open at 8 a.m. in both cities. Naomi grew up in Memphis and she knows heat, but Madison in June at 95 degrees is a different conversation. She texted her mother in Memphis this morning, "Call me Thursday if the index goes above 100 in your neighborhood." Tell me in the comments what your sky looks like and what the heat feels like outside your door right now. Now, the 50 million, that is the population inside Wednesday's Enhanced Risk Corridor. The SPC Enhanced Risk Level 3 of 5 covers eastern Minnesota through Wisconsin into northern Illinois. Kansas City, Chicago, and Milwaukee are all inside this threat zone as of this morning's updates. What drives Wednesday's severity is a low-level jet running at 70 knots across central Iowa before dawn. 70 knots is 80 miles per hour at 1,000 to 3,000 feet above the surface, and that speed matters enormously. At that wind speed aloft, any organized storm system has nearly unlimited rotation fuel feeding its updraft. By midday Wednesday, no joke, a line sweeps southern Wisconsin with straight-line gusts possibly reaching 85 miles per hour. Then a second round fires in the afternoon, discrete supercells near Minneapolis and Eau Claire. All hazards possible. Large to very large hail, tennis ball to baseball size, is highest probability near Davenport and Kansas City. Significant tornado parameter values Wednesday afternoon are running 4 to 6 near the Wisconsin-Iowa-Illinois border. STP of 4 to 6 means EF2 or stronger tornadoes are in the expected range, not just possible. Expected. The 2011 Joplin tornado occurred in an STP environment of 5 to 7. Wednesday sits in that same range. Naomi knows Joplin. She was a junior in college when it happened. 158 people killed that Sunday afternoon. She knows that was a Sunday and most people were home. Wednesday is a school day with 400 kids in her building. She called the principal this morning to confirm the shelter-in-place plan is ready before noon Wednesday. Teachers, coaches, parents, if your school or outdoor event runs past noon Wednesday, confirm your shelter plan today. And now the third number, 10% hatched. A 10% hatched risk means EF2 or stronger tornado is in the expected range within the outlined area. That hatched zone covers Madison, Cedar Rapids, Rockford, Dubuque, Davenport, 600 miles of corridor. Thursday's hatched risk shifts slightly southeast. Chicago itself is under the 10% hatched zone Thursday. 9 million people in the Chicago metro inside a hatched tornado risk corridor. 9 million people. SPC explicitly flagged the Wisconsin-Illinois border as the highest ceiling tornado corridor for Thursday afternoon. That corridor has appeared in every SPC forecast discussion since Sunday, 4 consecutive runs. Same location. Here is the Thursday ingredient I promised you at the 9-minute mark, the low-level jet that makes it worse. Thursday's low-level jet reaches 70 knots by 3 in the morning over Iowa, that is before the sun rises. At 70 knots aloft before dawn, storm energy builds for hours before a single cloud appears on radar. By 6 in the morning near Des Moines, already 60 to 70 mile per hour winds and potential supercells forming. By 8 to 9 in the morning, the complex approaches Rockford and Madison during the peak commutes. The warm frontal boundary lifting north Thursday morning is where the discrete tornado threat is highest. Any supercell forming along or just south of that boundary has rotating updrafts capable of a long-track tornado. By 4 p.m., the line becomes widespread 60 to 90 mile per hour, damaging winds from Oklahoma City to Milwaukee. By 9 Thursday night, the line pushes into Michigan and Indiana, sustained severe weather for 18 straight hours. That is an 18-hour continuous severe weather event for the Great Lakes. A 999 millibar low tracks directly over Green Bay Thursday afternoon. That is the rotation center driving the tornado corridor. For reference, 999 millibars in June equals a strong late autumn cyclone. That is how unusual Thursday's low pressure is. Naomi lives 1 mile from the Wisconsin-Illinois border. She asked me, when does the worst hit Madison? The honest answer, Wednesday afternoon before 3 for the tornado window, Thursday before 7 a.m. for the wind event. She set 2 alarms, Wednesday noon, Thursday 6 a.m. Her shelter plan covers both windows now. Worth pausing here for something real before the rest of the week. Behind Thursday, Canadian air drops Chicago to 63 degrees by Saturday, June 14th. Low humidity, no severe weather. After the most active stretch since April, that 63-degree Saturday will feel like the atmosphere finally exhaling. Friday, the severe weather shifts to the northeast with a slight risk covering all of New York and Pennsylvania. Primary threat Friday is 50 to 60 mile per hour damaging winds and large hail as the cold front clears the Appalachians. Flash flooding is a secondary Friday concern across western Pennsylvania and West Virginia, 2 to 3 inches possible. New York City carries a 2% tornado risk Friday low, genuinely non-zero, worth knowing. By 9 Friday evening, the front exits offshore, and the eastern United States begins its first full break in 10 days. Saturday, June 14th, mid-60s, low dew points, clear skies from Minneapolis through Detroit through Pittsburgh. Beyond Friday, the storm track drops southward between June 14th and June 21st and changes who is at risk. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee become the active severe weather zone after Saturday. Mark my words, those regions have watched the Midwest take hits for 2 weeks with almost no action of their own. Above normal precipitation is already forecasted with 50% confidence for the southern tier through late June. The Midwest quiet period is real dew points drop to the 50s, comfortable for any outdoor plans through the weekend. But the South and Southeast should review their own severe weather plans before Saturday, not after. Worth spending 1 more minute on the heat because the health stakes Wednesday and Thursday are serious. When the heat index exceeds 103 degrees Fahrenheit, the NWS classifies conditions as extreme danger. Extreme danger means heat stroke risk for anyone engaged in outdoor activity, not just the elderly. For adults over 65, heat stroke can develop in under 30 minutes at these conditions, sometimes less. Outdoor workers in Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana on Wednesday need a 10 a.m. break plan confirmed today. Anyone in Sacramento, Las Vegas, or Phoenix without air conditioning should leave their home before noon today. Cooling center locations are available at your local NWS website free. No registration. Open 8 a.m. Thursday. If you are over 65 and alone Thursday, a cooling center is not optional. It is a medical precaution. Planning to spend even 1 hour in an air-conditioned building between noon and 6 Thursday can prevent heat stroke. Good Lord, Naomi has been watching this forecast build since Sunday, 4 days watching 3 models converge. She told me when 4 consecutive runs agree on the same corridor. That is a certainty, not a forecast. 4-run model consistency on Thursday's Wisconsin-Illinois corridor is exactly that kind of certainty. If you live in southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, or the Chicago metro, what is your shelter plan for Thursday? The June 2008 Iowa derecho began with a similar low-level jet structure and produced 100-mile-per-hour winds overnight. That event caused $1.3 billion in damage across Iowa in a single night and left 400,000 homes without power. Thursday's STP values in southern Wisconsin running 8 to 10 on the experimental models exceed the 2008 derecho environment. STP of 8 to 10 is not a forecast of outbreak. It is a statement that the atmosphere has loaded the gun. The difference between 2008 and Thursday is that you have 24 hours of warning. Use that advantage. Here's your direct action list, 1 item per region, most urgent at the top. Southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois shelter plan confirmed before noon. Wednesday, not Thursday, Wednesday. Chicago Metro, Thursday, 9 million people in the hatched zone. 18-hour event alerts on vehicles away from trees. Iowa and Minnesota, Wednesday, STP 4 to 6. Discrete supercells possible. Know your shelter before 2 p.m. Midwest and Mississippi Valley heat index near 100 degrees Wednesday, check on elderly neighbors today. East Coast Thursday, 93 degrees New York, heat index approaching 100, cooling plan for anyone over 65 today. East Coast Friday, slight risk, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, standard weather awareness, not shelter level. South and southeast storm track shifts your direction after Saturday. Review your plan before June 14th. And for everyone in the Midwest, that 63-degree Saturday arriving June 14th is real and very well earned. If someone you care about is in southern Wisconsin, Chicago, or the Iowa corridor, reach out to them today. The flash flood threat running parallel to the severe weather all week also deserves specific attention today. A moderate risk of excessive rainfall covers the Ohio Valley through Thursday that is 15% probability in yellow areas. Slow-moving storms will pile 2 to 4 inches on communities in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky already saturated from last week. Turnaround and do not drown applies to every low-water crossing from Louisville east to Pittsburgh through Friday morning. The cool down arriving June 14th deserves more than one sentence because after this week, it genuinely matters. Behind Thursday's system, dew points drop from the 70s to the mid-50s across the Midwest by Saturday morning. That 20-degree dew point drop is the atmospheric equivalent of opening every window in your house after a long summer day. Chicago Saturday, June 14th, 63 degrees, 52-degree dew point, no severe weather anywhere near the region. Naomi has now made 3 phone calls and set 2 alarms for 2 different shelter windows. She also told the 22 families in her homeroom to have their shelter plans confirmed before Tuesday night. She said, "I have 400 kids Wednesday, and I am not going to be the teacher who did not prepare." Naomi also told me something after making those 3 phone calls that I want to share. She said the principal thanked her the school shelter plan had not been reviewed in 14 months. That 14-month gap in a school serving 400 children is not unusual. It is the norm across most school districts. Wednesday is the reason to close that gap today, not next fall. Here is the bottom line, 1 action item per region, as direct as I can make it. Southern Wisconsin and Northern Illinois shelter plan confirmed before noon Wednesday, not Thursday. Chicago Metro Thursday, 9 million people in the hatched zone, 18-hour event alerts on, vehicles away from trees. Iowa and Minnesota Wednesday, STP 4 to 6, discrete supercells before 3 p.m. shelter location known before noon. Midwest and Mississippi Valley heat index near 100 degrees Wednesday check on elderly neighbors today. East Coast Thursday, 93 degrees New York. Heat index near 100 cooling plan for anyone over 65 confirmed today. South and southeast storm track shifts your direction after Saturday. Review your severe weather plan this weekend. And for everyone in the Midwest, that 63-degree Saturday arriving June 14th is real and very well earned. Naomi checked the forecast at 5 this morning. She saw 80 million, 50 million, and 10% hatched. She called the principal. She called her husband. She texted her mother. 3 phone calls before 6. That is not anxiety. That is preparation. There is a difference. 80 million is the Thursday heat. 50 million is Wednesday storms. 10% is the tornado corridor over her school. Naomi already has her plan. Now you have hers and you have yours. Check in tonight and tell me how your area looks. I'll be back tomorrow with Thursday's full outlook. Take care of the people near you.